Ladies and gentlemen, it appears that there is some big news surrounding AEW. Somebody's been fired from the company. We're going to talk about that. Plus, WWE WrestleMania 41, we have an announcement, some big plans there. If you're a fan of Randy Orton, you're going to like this. And you might even like the fact that somebody could be debuting at WrestleMania or returning. Plus, we're going to talk about TNA in the International Championship. We finally got a first look at this belt. And guys, I'm not going to lie, it's pretty damn sexy. We're going to talk about some of the challenges they might have with this belt, the pros, the cons, and all you need to know. It's coming up right here on the Ango Show. All right, guys, let's talk about it. TNA International Championship. TNA gave us a sneak peek of the belt. And for those who will be watching TNA Unbreakable, then you will see the TNA International Championship belt on the line. Shockingly, TNA went with a blue strap. It's blue and gold. I think so far this looks sexy. I think based on looking at this half, I think it's very clear how the main plate of it is going to look. It looks pretty damn sweet. So I'm excited about it. I'm definitely excited about it, but I do think there's a lot of things we got to talk about with the TNA International Championship. For one, this tournament didn't have many international talents, if any, which is odd considering the fact that they have 3 new signings that are from international countries. I don't know why they weren't in this tournament. I don't know. I thought that was kind of odd. But also, I think for TNA, they've historically always had this problem, and this is the thing that a lot of people don't want to admit to, but TNA has historically had this problem when it comes to their mid-card belts other than the X division. I feel like they've always kind of struggled with that. And that's actually my biggest fear here. The Digital Media Championship isn't it. The TV championships were never it, right? Like the King of the Mountain stuff, that was never it. This is an opportunity to make this a coveted prize. And I really hope TNA looks at WWE as a model of influence here. When you look at the Intercontinental Championship, really, I mean, Gunther holding it and even Braun Breaker holding it, it holds a lot of value. It holds a lot of prestige. And that's what mid-card titles need to feel like. They need to propel people to the top. And I'm hoping that this is a situation in which TNA would be able to do that. With the International Championship, the belt could look sexy, but if it doesn't have good booking, if you're not propping people up, and if you're not using this to elevate people, then what exactly are you doing? Is it better than the Digital Media Championship? Absolutely. But at the same time, too, I got high standards, baby. I got high standards. And just a quick reminder, guys, if you guys don't know, over 40% of the people who watch this channel, they're not subscribed. We're trying to hit 100,000 subscribers. It would mean the world if you guys actually click subscribe. So go ahead and consider doing that. What's going on with Randy Orton at WrestleMania? That's a big question. Well, WrestleVotes is coming out, and they're saying that Randy Orton will, in fact, have an open challenge at WrestleMania 41. What's even crazier is that there is this belief, and this is where things get really crazy. There is this belief that it could be Rusev. So Rusev could be making his return at WrestleMania. According to WrestleVotes, it appears that basically the company has him listed for marketing material and a whole bunch of stuff. They're looking at bringing him back. This could be a big moment. Honestly, having the company do a open challenge is completely fine with me for Randy Orton. I would much rather see Nick Aldis versus Randy Orton, but that doesn't appear to be the case. So that's interesting to me. That is very interesting to me. Some people are speculating that maybe it could be, maybe it could be like Aleister Black or something like that. I don't think that would be the case. Anything is possible, obviously, but yeah. That's interesting. Randy Orton has to be on WrestleMania, so I'm glad that they're going to do an open challenge. I think one of the big things that I have here is if you're going to do Rusev versus Randy Orton, how do you have Rusev return to the company and lose? That's quite of an interesting decision to make. If you have Nick Aldis versus Randy Orton, Nick Aldis could absolutely lose, which I think would be fine. I don't think there would be an issue with that. But if it's like a Rusev or Aleister Black, it just doesn't work for me, brother. Also, in addition to that, the Wrestling Observer newsletter has come out, and they said that they've been told that Jeff Cobb is not going to be answering this open challenge. So we'll see if the Wrestling Observer newsletter is right. But I don't expect Jeff Cobb versus Randy Orton to take place at WrestleMania, nor do I think that should happen. That would be a very weird way to have somebody debut. I guess really my next point that I want to make when it comes to this open challenge, and this is probably the most important part of anything, what's next for Randy Orton? Obviously, he got screwed because of Kevin Owens' injury. You can't go and make excuses for that. It is what it is. That's life. But what was the plan for Randy Orton after Kevin Owens? Are they going to stick to that? Are they going to try something new? Maybe Randy Orton sells his soul. I don't know. I'm just pointing it out there. I'm just putting it out there. I have very little confidence in what happens next for Randy unless he were to sell his soul. Being with The Rock, John Cena, Travis Scott could be interesting. But as of right now, we don't know. He is going to be wrestling at WrestleMania 41. How big of a deal will this be? You guys let me know. All right, guys, ladies and gentlemen, Sarah Stock has been reportedly let go by the company of AEW. Fightful Select had dropped this. She had been working in AEW as a coach, producer, and agent. Fightful had come out and said that they were not given a reason as to why she was let go from AEW. However, it is important to acknowledge the fact that Sarah Stock did come from WWE. Maybe you guys don't know who she is, but she is a former professional wrestler from Canada. She previously worked from WWE from 2015 to 2020. Obviously, she had a wrestling career. You know, like if you guys know who she is, you know, she worked CMLL and she had a wrestling career that was relatively good. The issue here is that she's been let go and nobody really seems to know why. And there's been a lot of speculation on this, but we're not going to really talk about the speculation. She joined the company back in 2020. She's been there for 5 years. You know, when she was let go from WWE during the COVID time, it was kind of an interesting thing. There was some talks that Fightful had previously heard that Stock had raised issues with the company's mental health program and the department being shifted heavily. But nobody knows if that actually had a contribution to her being let go, which is kind of interesting because if somebody raises concerns in this company, should they be scared that they're going to be let go as well? I think that's probably like the big thing that needs to be mentioned, right? So tough situation for Sarah Stock. Maybe you guys don't care, but I do think there is a little bit more to the story, and obviously we'll find out whatever happens. But yeah, this is an interesting time period, man. An interesting time period for sure. You never know what's going to happen in pro wrestling. That's why I'm constantly making you guys videos and we're live streaming all the time. So if you guys want more content like this, go ahead and click subscribe. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.